Oh, welcome back, everyone. You'll notice there was no out of the theater review for this. This is because I saw this with my girlfriend, and she does not like to be on camera or really associate on the camera, so I just didn't do it. But yeah, one battle after another are one of allegedly the best films of the year. One of the films that's being heavily considered for Oscar contention. As it stands on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's holding, like last I knew, it held like a 98%. Where is it currently standing right now? Give me one second here. Should be up in just a second. But no, it's been getting a lot of buzz. It's also been marketed a hell of a lot. Like, dear God, the amount of time it's seen. So currently, it's standing at a 97% from the critics and an 88% from the audiences, which, you know what, that does not surprise me in the least. This is definitely a movie where I think the critics, who again are critics are movie fans. I don't think that's up for debate, or it shouldn't be up for debate. But I think they get so wrapped up in their world and the fact that it's their job to be reviewing that they maybe see things that other people don't in the films. And holy crap! Sorry, I'm looking at the budget right now. We'll talk about that in a second, or a little down the way. But I can see where that disparity would be. And keep in mind, 88% is still fantastic. But at 2 hours and 42 minutes long, this is not a quick sit. It's well paced. Like, you don't really feel the length all that much. It is very well structured. But as much as, let me rephrase this. Did I really, really like this movie? Yeah, I really like the movie. Is it going to be in my top 10 of the year? At the moment, yeah, it'd be in my top 10 of the year. Do I think it's best picture worthy? I wouldn't go that far, but I can understand why a lot of people have been saying up for like best picture. I don't know if best actor or actress have been, brought up, but I can understand where that is coming from. Because this movie does kind of have all the ingredients for a Best Picture nomination. You have Oscar-winning actors in there: Sean Penn, Leonardo DiCaprio. I believe is Benicio del Toro an Oscar winner? I do not recall if he is an Oscar winner, but I know Sean Penn and Leonardo DiCaprio are. Not to mention you have like other heavy hitters like Regina Hall in there. You have Tiana Taylor in there, who I'm actually not familiar with her like filmography. Hold on, she's been around since 2000. Oh, she was in Stomp the Yard. Okay, Medea's. I mean, so far she didn't really have a huge what. I'm trying to think. She was in the Coming to America. But honestly, if you want to ask what her real, let's be honest, big break is, it would be this film. She's been around for about a decade. Great. But no, this would be her real big, and she's done a lot of work on television. Not like she's been around since about 2007 television, and she's had a decent career. But this is really her big starring role in it. But it's got great talent on screen. It is a director. I know the director. One second. Paul Thomas Anderson film. So and written by Paul Thomas Anderson, based off a novel called Vinland or Vineland. I'm pretty sure it's Vinland. So you've got the talent behind the screen as well. This is extremely well paced for a 2 hour and 42 minute long movie. And despite the fact that it's not like action heavy, there's certainly action moments, but it's more tension within these scenarios, building up to whether or not people are going to be, okay. The cat and mouse games that this political, radical group, these, we'll call them homegrown terrorists. No, I mean, they are terrorists, let's be honest. But they're called the French 75. The political atmosphere, especially that's very poignant, especially in today's day and age. I mean, like, if you didn't know this was based off of existing book from 1990, you would be thinking, oh, they're making a statement making this movie. Like, if this was an original if this was an original movie, you know this would be a lot more politicized than it probably is. And it's probably still politicized to some degree based on the subject matter. But, yeah, I mean, they also have adapted it for the modern era, clearly. But it's got tension. It's got the messaging. It's got drama. It's got tension. Like, seriously, there is tension in this movie. But it's also got some humor to it too. Like, it's not comedy. It is not. But there are enough laughs in the movie to kind of make you go, okay, I needed that. And the story basically follows Ghetto Pat Cahoon, also who later becomes known as Bob, and his daughter, Willow, played by Chase Infinity. Is that her name? No, it's actually Chase Infinity, who are basically in their version of witness protection after shit goes awry with their mom. Most of the French 75 like gets taken down or scattered. And then, the ghosts of the past coming back to collect their pound of flesh. And it is, let me tell you the things I don't like about the movie. And it's not a lot, but there are things I didn't love about the movie. It is a little hard. The beginning of the movie is a little hard to get into, at least for me, due to the fact that apart from Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm actually not liking anyone. Like, even, we'll call her Beverly because her full name is like, what is it? Her full name is Perfidia Beverly Hills. We'll call her Beverly. Beverly is like really not actually all that likable. And to be fair, I think there's a reason behind it. She becomes more likable as we see her relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio. But then she's doing things that, even while she is with Leo, we were like, ugh. And after she gives birth to their daughter, more or less she abandons. This is a minor spoiler, but she abandons them, and this is why she gets caught. Because we know you see in the trailer she gets caught. And then there's more down the road with her that you're like, oh wow, you really were just and it breaks it down. Well, sorry, it breaks it down to her mom in one scene says, "My daughter comes from a long line of revolutionaries. What you're not worthy of her." And honestly, it's actually the other way around. She comes from revolutionary. Sure, she's got the fight, but in the end of the day, she's just a child throwing a tantrum without understanding the consequences of her actions. And at the end of the day, she isn't the best person in the world. But she also recognizes that about herself, which is interesting. But then you get stuck with Leonardo DiCaprio, whose name we'll just call Bob. He's also known as Rocket Man because he was like the pyrotechnic guy in the group, who clearly believed in the cause, but was the outsider, not like braised into it, I guess is the best way. He wasn't born into it. And you quickly see that while he cared about the cause, the minute he had bigger responsibilities like being a father, he dropped it to take care of his child, to be a parent. It's not that he still didn't care about what was going on. It's just he understood that he had other responsibilities now. And that was something that he and his partner couldn't reconcile with. And so I like the fact that he is, and I'm going to just do that real quick. Give that a little, there we go. That's a little better. I think also the blue of this wall does not help with the background. That's why I look so potato cammy. But it helps us to understand where he's kind of why he's in the place he is. Paranoid. He's burnt out when we finally meet him 15 years later. And yet he's still got that revolutionary. He's still got the fighter in him. It just comes from a different perspective now. Then you get Sean Penn. And I'll tell you what, everyone in this film is great. Sean Penn is surprisingly good, is really good, but man, is he weird. Like, we first meet him, and Beverly is basically catches him off guard, and is basically telling him, like, get his dick up, and like he's has this fetish for black women, but he's also part of this, or wants to be part of this cabal. Like, that's the thing. There's this, there's a group of like them, as it's described right here in the description, vehemently anti-immigrant white supremacist secret society group called the Christmas Adventurers Club. And it's like just so he wants to be part of this group, yet he fetishizes black women, and it's like his dialogue is weird. At one point, he walks right up behind Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, "Oh, you got a daughter? Her name's Charlotte. Sounds like a black girl's name. Oh, you like black girls? I love them. I love them." Like, who the hell just walks up to someone like that? This guy is like seriously kind of deranged in his own way. And it's his story. It's like, it is also telling his story too, about like him and what he wants in life a little bit. Like, there's still like some weird level of humanity in it, but it's a really effed up humanity. So he's just very, but he's good. He's great. He's also very intimidating because of what he's kind of representing and who he's representing it on, what side he's representing it on. But hands down, the best character in the movie is probably, best character, not the best acting, but the best character is Benicio del Toro's like Sergio Carlos, or Sensei, because he's basically, he like runs a dojo, and he is like the most chill dude in this entire movie. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio is freaking out half the time while they're together, and he's just like, no worries, calm waves, Bob, calm waves. Oh man, I really do. You just like, I would just want a movie of him and Leonardo DiCaprio's character. He's totally zen, and Leo's half the time freaking the hell out. But honestly, the real lead of this movie is Chase Infinity, is Willow, because we don't really meet her, the version, like the 15-year-old, 16-year-old version of her we're meeting, until about a quarter, maybe a third of the way in through a 2-hour, 42-minute film. But the minute we meet her, honestly, is we quickly realize, no, this is her movie. This really is her story. I mean, it's to some degree it's everyone's story, but this is a lot of her story and her coming to realize what her past is, what her lineage is, what her heritage is, and what she's gonna actually do with that information. So in the future, and like, it's, man, when she's on screen, you are just kind of captivated by what's she going to do, what's her end game out of this, like, how can, and honestly, I'm looking at this right now, this is honestly no joke, except for a television main role in Presumed Innocent TV show from last year. And she's going to be in something called The Testaments next year, and one music video. This is her first film role. She is, okay, talking about debut actresses or actors, one of the best debuts for a performer, period. Like, I thought she maybe had some other, but no, great honor for breaking out into the, like, I look forward to seeing what else she can do. Absolutely. She kind of reminds me, like, just physically, of the actress who played Carly in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I think she's actually in that next one. She's in a movie coming out about with Chiwetel Ejiofor. It's like a 94-year-old woman is like just moves, and she's getting to know people, and it's Eleanor the Great, or the Magnificent Eleanor, or something like that. But regardless, yeah, she reminds me a bit of her in just appearance. But I knew it wasn't her. I'm just like, oh wow, you guys, you two look very similar to each other. But no, she's really, really good in the movie, because you buy this relationship that she has with her dad, where she's kind of more taking care of him than her. But she still loves him. She just gets really fed up with him at points. So it's just it's really just it's really good, because you ultimately see where he's been coming from all these years, and the reconciliation they have. I mean, the movie works great with tension. It works great with a little bit of suspense. It also works great with just kind of a little bit of humor too. Like again, a little humor sprinkled throughout the movie. There's one scene I likened to I leaned over to my girlfriend, she like nodded and was like, yes. Where there's a scene involving him just trying to charge a phone, and I likened it to Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling, where um, he's just trying to get a cup of coffee throughout the entire movie. And it's not the entire movie he's trying to charge phone, but it's like for like a 15-minute stretch, he's just trying to charge this fucking phone. It's pretty hilarious. But I went off topic. The things I didn't like. And it's not a lot, honestly. It is still a long movie. I didn't feel the length, but after I got out, I kind of felt the length. I'm like, wow, that was a long movie. But I mean, it was well paced. But like I said, the first act of the film is it's a little hard to like anyone. Like again, Beverly's not very likable. Sean Penn's certainly not likable. At least not in the sense of you want good things for him. You do not want good things for this man. He is not a good person. Beyond that, I would have liked a little bit of an answer to what happened to some people. For example, Regina Hall, who's not in the movie a lot, but she is in the movie, and I love Regina Hall when she shows up. Regina Hall is, we see something happens with Regina Hall. We don't know what ultimately ended up happening with her. There are other characters we don't know that too, and for some of those characters, that's fine. That's kind of how that works. For example, Benicio del Toro's character, we don't ultimately know what ends up happening with him, but we can actually assume what happens to him. And that's something that I kind of both like and dislike about the movie, where it's like not everything has an answer, and not everything needs an answer, but some of it I felt kind of needed an answer. Also, I'll say there is a moment near the end where something happened to someone. And then later on, we see the aftermath of that. So I'm like, wait, really? And me and my girlfriend was like, you're joking. And then there is some payoff to that. Like, oh, okay. But why? Why couldn't we have just done that instead? Like, you know what? That is the thing. While I don't think this movie is I think this movie actually is paced very well, so I don't think it's too long. I will say I think if you had shaved off that last bit with that character, I'm not saying who the character is, but that last bit with that character, I really wouldn't have complained at all. Like, the movie probably would have ended in a much more reasonable way, honestly. Like, I felt like that last bit with that character, and when you see the movie, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with that character. Because something happens with that character, and we think, okay, that's it. Oh, and then we see, oh wait, we're not done with the character quite yet. And then we see what happens with the character at the end. And I'm like, well, why couldn't we have just said that's what happened to that character and cut out the rest of that plot? Like, there was legitimately no reason to actually have that, apart from showing shadiness in the country. That was it. Apart from that, there was no real reason. Because the movie, I think, would have probably flowed just a little bit better. You would have legitimately shaved 5 to 7 minutes off the film, which I'm not necessarily saying that film needed to do. Oh, there was one other scene where we see there's a chase sequence, and they're in the desert, and the hills are kind of going up and down, so we kind of lose sight of each other, like the people driving lose sight of each other for a moment. I get why they did it, but they did it for too long. I agree with my girlfriend on that too. It got a little disorienting, to be honest. They did it for too long. If they could have maybe cut that scene and maybe cut that sequence in half to lead to what ultimately led to, and I think that would have worked fine. We would have gotten the gist. Excuse me. So yeah, apart from maybe shaving a couple scenes down or taking a couple scenes completely out, and maybe just one or two to shorten it up a bit. And the fact that the beginning is a little rough because you don't like a lot of people apart from maybe Leo. And that's just because he's kind of wheeling up the innocent in this group of revolutionaries. So, hell, there's one scene where they're setting a bomb. He's like, we only got 2 minutes. And she's trying to do him right there. He's like, we only got 2 minutes. um, like, babe, I'd love to do you right now too, but we got to go. Like, literally, just do something in the car to me while we're driving, but not right now. I kind of felt it because if my girlfriend is my smoking hot girlfriend is just trying to do me right there, I'm like, babe, I would love to if we weren't close to a giant explosive. So, yeah, I get it's hot, but come on. Regardless, though, I still really enjoyed this movie. It is also a tough watch. It's not an easy watch. There are scenes that are uncomfortable to sit through in this film. Absolutely, they are. But that is the point of the film, is to kind of give you a really harsh look at what could be reality in some ways. Still, though, I enjoyed the film very much. Again, will it be in my top 10 of the year right now? Probably. Is it my best film of the year? Right now, that distinction still goes to Sinners, but there's a lot of Oscar caliber films coming out pretty soon. Hell, just this week, just next week, we have, is it The Smashing Machine next week? Yes, The Smashing Machine. Okay, that's what I'm seeing next week, 1000%. I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm hearing a lot of good buzz around that. I'm hearing possible Oscar, because no joke, Oscar consideration for Dwayne the Rock Johnson, or just Dwayne Johnson now. But we have The Smashing Machine. I also know we have Bone Lake. There's at least one other major release coming out that week. We have that new Daniel Day-Lewis film, if I remember correctly, with it's not Anemone, it's Anemone. It's not Anemone. I know that. I want to say it's pronounced Anemone. I don't know. Again, I don't think it's Anemone. I don't, but maybe it is an enemy. Maybe I just don't remember how to spell an enemy. But that's in limited release. Maybe I'll get a chance to see that. But yeah, Are We Good Coyotes? Oh, please, like Rabid Coyote or Dangerous Coyote, please. A limited release? Oh yeah, it's a re-release of Jacob's Ladder. I mean, the big ones next week will be The Smashing Machine and honestly, it'll probably just be The Smashing Machine. And then the following week, which would be the week of the 10th, Roofman. Looking forward to that. Oh, and then he gets a Y release. Okay, so maybe I'll just have to wait for that. Let's see here. Anything else? Beasts of War. Let's see. After the Hunt. I'm looking forward to that too. So yeah, okay. After the Hunt's, I think, getting a Y release later on in the month. Yes, it is. Okay, so I don't have to necessarily go for the limited. Anyway, I digress. It's going to be an interesting October, to say the least. And last but not least, was going to mention, I don't think this movie's going to make its money back, because the estimated budget for this film was between a 130 and 170. Do the math, that's 150 on average. The film had a solid market. I mean, the film, they just kept pushing us in the face with the marketing. At minimum, that's a $50 million, probably more like $75 million marketing campaign. So you're looking at a film that's got to hit like 360 just to break even? Maybe 350, 360 just to break even? This film isn't going to do that. This is not one of those films that's designed to do that. It's kind of like, what was it? The one, was it last year or the previous year? With Leonardo DiCaprio, he married the Indian woman. Crap, I am blanking on it. Hold on, Leonardo DiCaprio. What? Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what? That was another thing that I didn't like, that I noticed real quick. He's only 50 years old. Okay, I give him credit. He looks 50. I'll admit he's when he's clean shaven, he's not a rough looking 50. Weirdly enough, when he has facial hair, he's a rougher looking 50. But no, okay, I actually thought he was older than that. Okay, but there's a 15-year time gap between the beginning of the film, and when we meet them in the their witness production, Killers of the Flower Moon. That's what I was thinking of. And look, I get it. Like, they can't. Aging 15 years is difficult, but apart from facial hair, Leonardo doesn't look the same. To be fair, he looks that transition doesn't really matter much, which is why they basically had him mostly clean shaven back when we first meet him. We don't see Tiana Beverly really, and Sean Penn doesn't look any different than before. And Sean Penn is like in his 60s, late 50s, 60s now. So you're trying to tell me he was in his 40s? He does not look any different. So I'm not saying you can't. And like freaking even Regina Hall doesn't look any different. Like I get it. There's only so much you can do, but you gotta make it look like these people age, especially because he's clearly someone in his 30s minimum, mid to late 30s minimum, not 20s. Tiana Taylor, she's clearly someone in her 20s. That's what she's, because she is in her 20s as far as I know. So that's what she's portrayed. So she would be in her mid 40s at that point. But I'm just saying, you got to age these people up a little bit. Regardless, it's still a good movie. Mostly my complaints are minor. It really did deliver. I actually was impressed, especially because I just kept getting tired seeing the same damn trailer over and over again. Which means it's going to be interesting to see what the actual opening weekend for this is going to be. People have been wondering I heard the speculation is, or the estimations are around 30-ish for the opening weekend, 30 million-ish. But ultimately, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be underperforming. Maybe Warner Brothers' streak will keep continuing because they've been having a damn good run. Either way, though, yeah, I'd recommend this, absolutely, especially if you like this type of film. But I digress. I'm just rambling at this point. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you've seen it yet, what do you think? What do you think of it? Or if you haven't seen it yet, do you think you will go watch it? Let me know. Until then, thanks for watching. See you next time.